Okay, so let's talk about Florida real quick because the season's over. It was disappointing, just as it was last year. Uh, Obviously, people want to just start throwing blame. Obviously, you would just point straight to the coaching staff because you can't really blame 18-year-old people for a situation that they were put into by the person who's like 40 years old and is supposed to be guiding them to being a better human being and a better player and hopefully to the National Football League. So, yeah. Season ended in the most undramatic way possible, which was a loss to Florida State. Dramatic would have been winning and beating Florida State and keeping them out of the playoff, actually. But unfortunately, someone didn't trust the quarterback to throw downfield, and so sacks piled up, and the L ended up coming out. So, obviously, people are talking about coaches. The first thing I wanted to talk about. In terms of the head ball coach, not Steve Spurrier, but Mr. Billy Napier, it's not that I do not believe him. Like I don't like he can do like whatever. I think I'm of the opinion that we need to give people time, but we also need to see results as you're giving them time. And those results can be either on the field or off the field. Results such as getting positional coaches that are good at recruiting and who are proven coaches at that position, or coming up with new schemes. An example that I can think of is when I think it was Will Muschamp. I don't know after what season it was, but he ended up hiring Kurt Roper as the offensive coordinator, who was the offensive coordinator at Duke, I think. And then I think also at Boise State, or maybe that was another coordinator, but things of that nature, like showing that you're someone who's open to change in some way. I'm not a coach. I've never been a coach. I would love to see how to become and how to work in a way that is being a coach and like coaching up a whole program, because I think that's a really fascinating thing. But obviously, it starts with the coaches from the fans' point of view. So the coaches are the ones to take the most heat. But hopefully Mr. Napier can get everything on the right track. The thing that I'd like to see him actually instigate or implement are discipline within the players. This isn't really much of his era thing, but this is just a Florida era in general. From what I've seen when I was a kid, bad penalties in bad spots, throwing shoes, and then obviously spitting on players, which was in the Florida State game. Not good, not a good look. Not even being a good look, but just like taking an L gracefully, which no one ever really does, but you don't need to display it outwardly. You can say, fuck this, and then shake someone's hand and walk away. That's fine, but spitting on someone or throwing a shoe or whatever is just ridiculous. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that he needs to make sure to instill. And I know it's really difficult because you're talking to 105 people. A lot of them you probably have no cultural connection with. Not just the fact that because he's white and most of his players are black, but just because, like, you can say that you go into these rooms and you talk to these families, but you really don't know what they're going through, because a lot of these players are like playing for their families or someone in their family, or because they come from a background that's completely fucked up. And they're just like, I need money, so I'm going to go here because they offered me money, and whatever school that was, and I'm going to hopefully take that money and make it into more money in the NFL. So, I don't know. Hopefully it works out great, but something needs to happen on that end in terms of getting people who are either getting people who are different or teaching people to be different. Because I think part of being a coach is being a teacher. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're probably not going to be very successful, especially at that level. All right, next thing is support on the back end of the organization. Obviously, from a fan's point of view, you're going to yell at the coach because the team's not winning. But then you also have to wonder what's happening at the back end of the organization in terms of this. It would be the UAA, University Athletic Association, or something like that. Are they giving this coaching staff the support they need to be a good coaching staff and to get players who are committed to not only being better people, but better players, and I guess winning for the fans and for themselves, actually. They're kind of doing it for themselves. We're just witnessing it and trying to be a part of it, but we really aren't. We really had no play in it. We just show up, scream, and go home. They show up, do the work, get hit, and then go home. I was reading on message boards a while ago, not even a while ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, talking about how the UAA has a bunch of people in it that are very much not supportive of any staff that comes in. Apparently they've had problems with Jim McElwain and Will Muschamp. Those are the 2 ones that were like really bigly named. I don't know how true that is. I'm going to be honest with you. I tend to believe it a little bit more true because I just don't see any reason that someone, because they did a pretty in-depth note on it, and I don't think it can be that in-depth and be that wrong either, unless you're just a pathological liar. But I think that person was telling the truth. I think they had worked at the UAA in some capacity, and they had seen some things, they had heard some things, and they just kind of noticed that like there's no support from the UAA given to the coaches, so the coaches can succeed successfully, whatever the fuck that means. Personally, if I were Billy Napier and if I got fired at the end of next year, I would. Okay, so I have to finish this video because my phone's off. Fuck you. Anyway, so whatever back end support he's not getting needs to be told out to everybody. If he ever gets let go, I hope he does not get let go because I think it's a really bad look overall. Everyone's saying that they need to replace him with people like Jed Fish or some other person because they're a UF alum or whatever stupid shit. But it's like, Ned Mullen quite literally coached here during the Tebow era. Like, he knew, and like I don't think Jed Fish is going to do a goddamn thing unless there's a back-end support staff that's going to be helping this man be actually successful. What does that look like? I don't know what that means. I don't know how the interpersonal relationships between the head coach and the back-end support staff, the UAA, would look or be, but yeah. My outlook on the team for the next year is, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It's December 9th, and we have until August 2024. Lots can happen. Obviously, the transfer portal is wide open right now. It will be continue to be wide open. Coaches are taking visits. No, players are taking visits to different schools. And then we have recruiting. So there are 2 ways that we can get players and not just one anymore. So hopefully we can get some people in who can recruit, first of all. Not only just recruit people who are in high school, but recruit people from other schools and show them that it's worth going here and playing there. Because right now, it really doesn't seem like it. It just seems like a place you can go for, so your parents can vacation and you'll get a bag and you might catch a football, you might not. Who knows? Yeah. I really wouldn't count it as a place to be guaranteed drafted. You will probably get drafted, but your development will probably be subpar. Because I think the last good developed player was probably developed way before he even got to UF, which was Khair Elam. And then the offensive linemen, of course, they've been pretty good since they've been drafted. But yeah, so last part are my thoughts. I guess I kind of combined that with the outlook. I had already said that in the outlook. I think it'll be okay. I personally, the only games I care about, honestly, are Miami and FSU and UCF. Everybody else can honestly just fuck off. I don't know what the schedule will do to us because they only get one break, and I feel like they should get 2. But yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. Hopefully they can they can figure it out. Because if not, it'll be a very long decade. We still have theoretically 7 years for this decade to end. And will it be a decade full of L's, or will it be a decade full of not L's? No. We'll see. Anyway, those are my thoughts. You can let me know what you think in the comment section below. If not, that's fine too. All right, you have a wonderful day.